What's up, guys? This is Jay from COI. So, Chris Matthews has got himself into some trouble, and there's some backlash. I'm not seeing a lot of it in the mainstream media, but it's definitely all over Twitter, on Facebook, and all that good stuff. Let's just go over what he said in the last 24 hours that's problematic. We'll start off with something that he said pre Bernie win. Um, he said, you know, maybe we go with Trump for 4 more years, and then we pick a Democrat that we all like. There's so many things that are wrong with that statement. Number one, he's creating this fear, this idea that our democracy is so brittle that it's not even there. That it really is ran by the elites. And so when you have low voter turnout, when you have people disinterested in the government and don't trust any of them, people who hate the elites, this is what caused Trump. It's Chris Matthews. It's this idea that, you know what, we just won't do it. Democracy is, we'll go with it to appease you people. It's the opiate for the masses. But when the elites are against it, we'll turn it off just like a light switch. And that's basically what he said. It also brings to light another thing that I've said before, and that is if you give the establishment the opportunity to go fascist over progressive, they will in a second. And that's exactly what he's saying. Look, you can't take away what Chris Matthews and the rest of the establishment, but let's just stick with Chris Matthews here, has said about Donald Trump. He is the most vile, racist, worst on environment, um, outright danger to our country. And he's saying, we'll pick that guy over Bernie Sanders. Why? Well, Bernie Sanders wants to give them health care. Bernie Sanders wants to give free education. And we just can't have that. Well, I thought Trump was the worst person possible. But Bernie Sanders threatening your corporate buddies, hurting your ad revenue, that's a bigger problem, isn't it? It is. Because let's be honest, NBC, MSNBC, CNN, all of them, they love Trump. Trump has been so good for their ratings. People watch him to watch him freak out and get upset and to grandstand and to do their little fake rants. When you don't have Trump, their numbers plummet again. Their relevance plummets again because there's a lot of people on the left right now who watch people like Chris Matthews or Rachel Maddow or any of those people who just talk soothing words to them and tell them be outraged at Trump for this and for that and live in this little bubble. And the people they're just like drones and they listen and follow. Yes, they're right, they're right, they're right, yes. Until we find out when push comes to shove, we have a guy who wants to dismantle the healthcare system and build it back up pretty easily, by the way, by just expanding the most popular type of healthcare we have. But that in turn will save the country $450 billion a year, but it's going to come at the cost of a lot of private insurers. These insurance companies buy ad revenue. That ad revenue pays Chris Matthews' bills. So push comes to shove. Do we really want to be left? Do we really want to save the environment? All the things that they say, you know, you're deplorable if you vote for Trump because of what he's doing to our country. Well, what are you, Chris Matthews? And that's just the first thing, by the way. That's not even the thing that got him in trouble. Take it back about a week ago when talking about Bernie Sanders. He said, "Well, I don't know how socialist he really is." And of course, he didn't follow that up with social democrat or democratic socialist. Um, Social democrat is actually probably the proper term to put Bernie in, but you have to forgive Chris Matthews. I have a whole 3 years of experience in political news. He's only got like 40. So, he may not understand nuances. But regardless, he said, I don't know what type of socialist Bernie Sanders is. He's like, I don't know if he's a Democrat or a Denmark type socialist or if it's Venezuela or if he's going to take us all to Central Park and line us up to kill us. Yeah, that's basically what he said. I'm paraphrasing a little bit. but I'm not inferring anything that wasn't already there. He said line us up in Central Park. And he may have even said kill us. I'm not exactly sure, but basically said that. Now let's go to the thing that got him in trouble. Um, and this was today. Chris Matthews said that Bernie Sanders' victory yesterday was a lot like, and it reminded him of when the Nazis invaded and conquered, essentially, France. You see the problem with this? You understand why people don't trust MSNBC? You see why people hate Chris Matthews? Do you understand why, when we're looking at the mainstream media, we say it's all bullshit? And they tell us about Russia, and they tell us about this and that, and they create all these fake narratives, and they keep us fighting each other. And we all just say, this is bullshit anymore. You wonder why places like the Progressive Voice or Jimmy Dore or Crowder or Ben Shapiro, do you wonder why they have more views than mainstream media? It's because of this. They have no principles. And let's be fair here to what he was saying. He was saying that a Jewish man whose family died in the Holocaust, him winning Nevada, one state out of 49. By the way, Bernie has won 3 in a row. No other presidential candidate has ever done that. But the fact that he won Nevada is just like the Nazis conquering France, killing people, just like the Nazis. What happened if Tucker Carlson said this? What are the chances Don Lemon or Rachel Maddow or any of them would be so mortified that they would demand he gets fired because he's such a racist, he's such a bigot? Hmm? Where's this? Where's this? The anti-Semitism coming of Chris Matthews. Where's that critique? I haven't really heard it. Very little. How this man has a job, I have no idea. I mean, outright, the last few weeks that I've been paying attention to him, I just feel like he doesn't even know where he's at. He really gives me the whole Joe Biden vibe, of a man who's bled from the eyeball live on TV. The guy had multiple strokes and a lot of issues as he's getting older in life. Yeah, that is exactly what Chris Matthews reminds me of. But he's outright being, and we never play this card coming from a Bernie supporter, but he's outright being an anti-Semite and using the Nazis as a reference. Really? A progressive candidate who is trying to give the entire country the best healthcare they've ever had and free education is what you consider Nazism? So this entire time that you were calling Trump Nazis, the neo-Nazi group and the neo-Nazi party, and them, you meant these were good people? And let's not take away from the fact that the same Chris Matthews has also referred to us Bernie supporters as brown shirters, which is another word for being a Nazi. So here's what we learned from mainstream media this week. And that is, if they don't like it, if the establishment is upset, they're going to put their Chris Matthews and their James Carvilles, and they're going to yell at you, and they're going to call us, who they don't like, Nazis, and say that Russia controls us. That's what we learned. And then they expect us to look at them as a credible source, with some sort of respect. Yeah, they're doing a great job. Anyway, that's it for me, guys. I'm really curious to your thoughts about this. Do you think Chris Matthews should be fired, like I do? Do you think he should at least apologize? Uh, do you think there's not a problem with that at all? What are your thoughts on all mainstream media? I'm really curious to hear your guys' opinion of all that. Anyway, thanks a lot, guys. Have a good one.